Welcome to In Bed with Natasha. I'm very happy today to be here in Paris at the Hôtel Amour with my special guest, Meryl Job, who's from Videdressing. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I mean, we were just admiring the art in the background,
yes,
which is, I'm not sure, I'm not sure if that many of you can see it, but it's quite suggestive. So we're having a bit of a giggle about this. But the real reason I brought you here in bed with me really was to talk about your e-commerce website, which is Videdressing. For those who don't know, but you can tell us a little bit more about it, because one of the things you do is you're not selling new product, you're selling second, I love the way, I was going to say second hand, but you said pre-loved.
Yes, exactly, because we really considered pre-loved because each item that we sell has really been loved by someone, you know.
That's true.
It belongs to someone. Each item has a story attached to it, and they're all very unique pieces. So, right, as basically Videdressing, it's a marketplace for individuals, for fashion lovers, who can come together to meet on this platform to buy and sell what we call fashion items they love or they loved. So accessories, clothing, handbags, shoes, jewelry, really anything in the fashion sphere to other fashion lovers all around the world.
But it is mainly luxury goods.
It's mainly high-end,
yes, because that's something I noticed.
Exactly, a lot of, definitely high-end luxury positioning, but our motto is from Zara to Prada, because
okay, so you do sell
you can sell Zara, you can buy Zara, because our principle is really to cover the whole gamut of fashion and to really meet the needs of all fashionistas, fashion lovers. So when you go into, you know, anyone's closet who loves fashion, you're not going to find only Chanel or only, you know, these premium brands. You're going to find a mix. So we want to be really a one-stop destination for all fashion lovers who can buy all the brands they love and sell all the brands they love.
Well, it's really interesting when I was looking at when I first heard about the website, because I know that recently you've launched in Italy as well, and you've, you know, it's a new market for you. And what's great is that women even like myself, that obviously are fashion lovers, have been purchasing lots of goods. And sometimes we find it really hard to part with these things, even though they're things that we keep in our closet that we don't use for a long time. But for some reason, taking it to a store that takes, you know, your secondhand or your used goods doesn't feel the same way. While you have your own account on Videdressing, and it's almost like your own identity.
Exactly. We really want people to feel at home in this platform, people to identify. It's really, you know, the site is not just about us, it's about our community, and our community is really composed of fashion lovers from all around the world. Obviously Paris, now Germany. We opened in Germany. We opened in France in December 2009.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that.
In Germany, end of September 2013, and in Milan in March 2014. Yeah. So really, and we also have sellers from over 70 countries in the world, and buyers from over 100 countries in the world. So it's really a global community.
And there's some amazing products on the website. That's the other thing. I mean, you know, for instance, one of the things that everyone knows that a brand like Celine you can't buy online, for instance. So when you put in a search on Google, Celine, one of the top sites that comes up is Videdressing, which is great because you can find products, and they're not like the bad products, or so they're really good quality. So how do you do quality? Do you do quality control?
We do that. All of these inspections with regards to counterfeit. We also just have, like, it's also the strength of our community. Like I said, we have really a deep and very strong community of fashion lovers, of people who are really passionate about fashion. So we have lots of journalists, we have lots of people who work at the luxury houses, bloggers, etc., who buy and sell on our site. So that creates kind of this natural quality control, if you will, because I mean, obviously those people aren't buying or selling fake.
Exactly.
So you're in a protected environment.
Yeah, exactly. How do you know if it's a fake Chanel bag, for instance?
But we also do 100% counterfeit inspection.
Okay.
So we have a team of legal experts who are trained in intellectual property law, and we also receive training by all the luxury brands. Yeah. We have partnerships with Louis Vuitton, LVMH. We have partnerships with Chanel, Christian Louboutin, all the major luxury brands. And actually, our legal experts go to these brands and receive training inside these brands. And it's the same training that the brands give out to their staff and to customs.
Oh my God.
So it's very intense. And we signed the anti-counterfeit charter established by the French Ministry of the Economy. and also with the participation of the top luxury brands. So we're really in this partnership, and we work hand in hand together to fight counterfeit.
Okay, that's really, really interesting. So let's take a couple of steps back, because we were talking before and you were telling me that you're from Minnesota.
Yes,
you're an
I grew up in Minnesota, an American in Paris, like Gene Kelly, you know.
Yeah, exactly. There's a few of those. But I mean, you know, Minnesota. I mean, I suppose apart from Prince and Meryl Streep, who then you just told me you were named,
people, right?
who you were named after Meryl, which I thought was a joke, but funny enough.
And Winona Ryder was born in Minnesota.
Okay, so let's go.
They're very cool people.
It's not a fashion capital.
Not at all.
So I mean, as a young girl growing up in Minnesota, when you know you're obviously a fashionist.
Yes.
And you know, where did this love, and how did you get your hands? I mean, did you have Vogue? What did you? I guess you got Vogue.
Honestly, in Minnesota, it was so I mean. It is because it is not a fashion capital, and you're so separated from that. But there was always this burning desire,
exactly,
I think, in my heart for fashion. And I remember, I mean, you had very few options. I mean, there's Abercrombie and Fitch and all the chain stores, and I was
like, no, we don't call that fashion.
I wasn't interested in any of that. And so what I would do is, growing up, when I was in high school and even middle school, I would go to all these thrift stores and these vintage stores. And I would buy these vintage dresses. I mean, all these crazy tops. I mean, anything really that was different. I would dress in like vintage dresses from the 30s and 40s growing up. I would wear things from the 70s. I would just mix and match, and I was just really wearing so much vintage fashion.
So you were also wearing a lot of fashion loved items
pre-loved
already,
items,
pre-loved items.
But like more in the vintage. Now I'm
course.
less about vintage. But at that time it was so great for me because, as I was saying, I mean, the contemporary fashion which we had access to, what I had access to growing up in Minnesota, was just so not trendy that I had to find an alternative way, I think, to be fashionable. And for me, that was...
And how did you end up coming over to Paris? Obviously, a city of fashion, of love.
Yes, I guess I was always so attracted to fashion and luxury. And for me, Paris was just always like the capital.
Yes.
I mean, it sounds really, I guess, cliche, but you know the movie Sabrina?
Of course.
I mean, it's like Audrey Hepburn who goes to Paris and like embarks on this career. I was always so inspired by these, you know, films from William Wyler, and just, I mean, Paris was always this romantic, you know, fiction in my head, and this dream somewhat. And so and so I had the opportunity to study abroad there when I was in university.
Okay.
So I did that. I fell completely in love with the city. I wanted to come back. I wanted to work in the luxury sector. So I did a master's after my bachelor in the US. I came back. I did a master's at a business school here called ECP, and marketing and communication. And then I worked as a product manager developing products at L'Occitane en Provence and Chanel.
Yeah.
So
you had some background already before you moved into this. And where did you get the idea, and also the name really? I'm curious about the name because I want to say video dressing, but it's Videdressing.
Videdressing.
Because it's the French.
You're pronouncing it like an Italian.
Exactly. and I'm wondering how other people around the world are gonna,
It's everyone pronounce it in their own way. Like a lot of Germans will say Videdressing.
Yeah,
a lot of even English speakers will sometimes say Videdressing. In French, obviously we say Videdressing.
Yeah.
But in Italian, I think you'll pronounce how.
Exactly. Like they'll say Videdressing, but also someone imaginally assumes it's like video dressing because it's on a website.
I think for some English speakers, but not so much for others.
So where did you get the name from, and where did you get this idea from? Because this came from you, really. I mean,
I'm the founder of Videdressing, and so the name is easy actually. Videdressing in French means empty your wardrobe.
Okay.
So it's like the
super
name.
Easy.
So it's like, okay, so let me, it really means what it says. What we do. And I had the idea actually when I was finishing up my job at Chanel. I knew I wanted to start a company. I had this creativity and this thing that wasn't being fulfilled at a regular job, and I was just looking. I had this entrepreneurial desire, and at the same time, I had to sell all these clothes. So I had like a lot of people. I live in a small apartment in Paris. I have limited space in my wardrobe, and I was going also to a lot of sample sales with my friends and my colleagues, and I just accumulated a lot of clothing, accessories, etc., and I literally had no more room. So I was like looking for a way to sell some of these items, and at the time, this was in 2008, there were only these super generalist marketplaces like eBay, Price Minister, Le Bon Coin.
Yeah.
I mean, not at all reassuring, not at all specialized. I mean, teeming with fakes everywhere you go. So I mean, huge problem.
Yeah, that's why I'm really turned off by the eBay market today.
So many are.
Exactly.
And it's also just not specialized. It's not very attractive. It's just not a dedicated platform. And so, and at the time I was reading a lot of fashion blogs, and I noticed that these fashion bloggers were starting what they call their Videdressing blogs. And as I told you, Videdressing in French means empty your wardrobe. So I thought this was a great idea.
It is a good idea.
But unless you're a fashion blogger, you don't have the traffic necessary to sell your items through this channel. So that's how I had the idea to launch Videdressing, which is a community platform where basically everyone, any fashion lover, can buy and sell pre-loved fashion items on this website in a community that full of fashion lovers. And in a platform that is completely dedicated, completely secure in terms of counterfeit, payment, etc.
Yeah. So I've seen this, you're talking about Videdressing, and I've actually seen websites that I don't want to mention the names of that have started out with startup ideas, with similar ideas to you, and they've ended, they've closed and they haven't gone well. Why do you think there's so much success around your website? Because instead of, a lot of the times people, look at pre-loved and they go, oh no, but I want it new. Or, why is there so much success? Is it the way it's presentation? Or is it mainly because of all the work you're doing with making sure that the items are in really good quality and at good prices as well?
I think it's a combination of things. I think I have the good fortune to have an incredibly talented team of really amazing people who do great work at Videdressing.
But these are people you put together, so it's not by chance. I mean,
So yes, but I would say for sure there's hard work involved. There's a bit of luck, and I think Videdressing today has many advantages. I think people come to us, like for example, sellers, they love us because we're extremely reasonable in terms of commission. We only charge 10%.
Yeah, that was something really interesting that I looked at.
So this is a huge advantage, and this is one of the main reasons we have such an enormous catalog. We have 850,000 products online. Every day there are 3,000 new products coming in. And luxury high-end products, so it's like very quality.
Yeah, so it's like I'm giving away a dress, like my Dolce & Gabbana dress that I love, but I just maybe I don't wear it, or a Chanel bag that I've used and I don't want it. But I don't feel like I'm letting it go short, because you're going to take 10% and that's it really.
Exactly, we're only taking 10% plus €3, which is really nothing. And so sellers love us because they find us to be extremely fair, and at the same time they get all these services. We act as a trust intermediary between buyers and sellers. So we make sure that the seller receives the payment and the buyer receives his item, and that she's satisfied. Okay. And buyers love us so much because we offer a counterfeit protection, 100%. We offer a money back guarantee. We're the only C2C site, customer to customer site, to offer this money back guarantee, and it's a huge advantage, plus point for buyers. Because for example, even Net-a-Porter, they'll have a return rate of maybe, I don't know, 15%, 20%. I don't know their figures. I'm just imagining any traditional e-commerce site.
Yeah, exactly what they have.
Fashion e-commerce site. And it's not at all related to quality. It's really related to size and fit. So we offer our buyers the chance to return an item if it doesn't fit them. And so they love this. They really love this. Do. And also, all the counterfeit protection that we protect 100% the buyers in case of counterfeit. We do moderation before. You can request an authenticity certificate, in which case we do physical expertise before sending you out the item, and in any case you can always return the item and be totally reimbursed. So there's like 100% protection for buyers.
Well, already by this conversation I'm pretty blown away by your knowledge or your passion into this, and obviously a lot of hard work, because this is what it really takes. Now you're a young American woman living in France. Was it difficult? I'm going to ask you a question. Was it difficult to be taken seriously at the beginning? I mean, because that this is a bit of a man's world a lot of the time, especially when it comes to startups, and especially when it comes to the digital world. Was it difficult to find your partners? I know that you've got a series of partners on this. And was it difficult to be taken seriously of being, oh, she's just a young girl with this idea, So that's an interesting question for all you entrepreneurs out there.
I mean, especially at the beginning, I have to say, we had some rendezvous at the beginning with some investors here, and it was just really like, what? Because it's not so much, I don't know if it's so much the fact that I'm a girl or whatever, maybe, or I'm not from here, but it's really the fact that when you're not an insider, when you don't have your own startup, when you don't come from the digital world. I mean, I was working as a product manager at Chanel. My partner, he was working as a tax director at Ibsen. So I mean, we both came from completely different spheres.
Okay.
And we had no experience in the digital sector, and so we had to build everything from scratch. We had to teach ourselves while building this company. I mean, it was extremely interesting and passionate, and I loved it. But yeah, I mean, it was so challenging. It was so challenging. You were constantly like, it's like, you know, walking uphill or running uphill, you know, and it's, I mean, it's a great workout. It's great training.
But you talked about literally for the last 3 years just not having that much life. I mean, now
especially
now that it's getting more and more intense and
from
bigger.
2009 to like 2000, yeah, I literally had no life. Yeah, I saw my friends like once a month.
Now that it's getting bigger, don't you feel like the beast is growing and you have like, you know, things haven't changed in that way?
Yeah, no, they have changed. I'm now like, oh, okay.
You've got some space.
I can have a weekend, you know.
You can sit around in bed with me and chat.
I can do this. I mean, well, this is work too, but I can go out in the evenings. I can go out on the weekends. I mean, literally before I was working in the evenings, on the weekends, there was not a time when I was not working. So it was very challenging.
So, I mean, obviously you're very ambitious. You've got a lot of ideas and you know what you want, which is really great. So I'm assuming that you've got a further plan of what's going ahead.
For sure.
Yeah. Give us a little bit of a hint.
Well, Videdressing, you know, we're a super ambitious company. So I mean, now we're in France, Germany, Italy, but we definitely want to. This is the beginning for us.
Exactly. So what about the US?
Yes, we're definitely thinking about the US. We're thinking about other markets in Europe. We're thinking about even Asia, Latin America. Yeah. So we really see this as a huge, just the beginning, and a beautiful.
Would you consider being based back in the US again?
You know, I'm very flexible at this point and still very devoted to my company. So, I mean, if it's right for the company, for sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, I'm really excited to start my account and have my profile on Videdressing. And I thank you so much for coming here.
Natasha. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. You have to give me a kiss.
Yes.
Now
the Italian style.
Yeah, or French as well. And now we can study a bit of these photos as well, so you can have a look at.
Lovely.
Thank you so much.
You.
Bye. Ciao.
Thank you. Bye.